Hello again. This is the Common Constitutionalist coming at you with another edition of the Common Constitutionalist Weekly Podcast. Today I've got a ton of crap to go through. I don't think I'm going to get through it all, but here's a few of the tidbits at any rate. Whether I make it through or not, that remains to be seen. It's just another reason to hate our federal government. Just another reason to dislike government just as a whole. They're now, well, not now, they've been taxing our Olympic athletes. Another reason to love them. This business with the National Football League denying the request of the Dallas Cowboys to put the sticker on their helmets of the Dallas Police Department is completely absurd. It's understandable from their standpoint, but it's absurd. There's the business of the Clinton tax return that just happened to Hillary. I'm releasing my taxes because I'm such a good person. Now, Mr. Trump, it's time for you to release yours. What a setup. And I don't know whether I'm going to, I don't know whether I'm going to get to a bunch of this stuff or all of it or whatever. But I'm also going to try to touch on this whole LGBT nonsense. It's taken over the world, it seems like, and it's taking over sports. Much to the detriment of sports, it's now taking over sports, and it's sports across the whole spectrum, including the Olympics, and it's just completely absurd. That and all the fun we can bear today on the Common Constitutionalist. And now for some new intro music, maybe to class things up a little bit and hide the fact that I'm just some rube with a mic. So there you go. Let's have at it, shall we?
You're listening to the Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
Oh yeah, I feel smarter already. I'm probably not smarter already. Maybe I don't sound smarter already. But I feel so much better about myself. Don't you? And it's all the way we feel. Nothing more than that. It's just, how do you feel? Speaking of feelings, I feel pretty ticked off. And I don't know whether I guess I knew about this, but I never really gave it much thought, to be honest with you. This is from our friends at Western Journalism, another good site. I should probably stop telling people to read everyone else's site and just say, oh, I'll link to it from my site or some silliness. But hey, what the heck. If it's good, and that's that. Western Journalism writes, the federal government is going for the gold, or is giving going for the gold a whole new meaning. And boy, howdy, aren't kidding. So these guys, they train guys and girls, and we'll get to it maybe later, or maybe not. Guys and girls and other train their whole, holy mackerel. They train their whole lives to get to the Olympics, right? First off, they train their entire lives to get to the Olympic Games, and then they hold it in some crap hole in Brazil or some place in Russia where the plumbing doesn't work and the dorms aren't finished and there's no snow, whatever, during the Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. And now there's cops getting murdered and body parts being washed up on the shore. And the diving pool. Don't you love the diving pool? All of a sudden, the guys have been diving for days, and all of a sudden they wake up one morning and the darn pool is green. We're talking emerald green. I don't know if you saw it or not, but they have the swimming pool next to it, and right adjacent to that is the diving pool with the platforms and springboards. And that sucker, the swimming pool is a beautiful blue, and the diving pool is this putrid-looking green. And they've been diving in this green water, assured that, and I'm getting off topic here, but I just can't stand it. The divers were assured it's safe, and then all of a sudden, they close the diving pool. They just close it off. And now the divers are going, what the heck have we been diving into this whole time? What are we going to pick up? What are we going to take home with us? What kind of disease is Rio spreading now? It ain't liquid Zika, probably, but we don't know what it is, and no one's ever said a word about why the pool turned green, why they couldn't get it back to blue or clear or something. It just was green, but it was safe. Trust us, it's safe. And then they go and close the pool, and the poor divers are going, what the heck is going on here? Egad. So anyway, you train your whole life, and you get to the hellhole that is Rio, and you go and you compete, and you're not a Michael Phelps or a Ryan Lochte or one of these people, and you get yourself a gold, and you also, I don't know if you're aware of this, you also get a check, and this time these checks, the gold, I think you get 25 grand for a gold. The Olympic committee or whoever runs the Olympics hands you you get a prize check for winning the Olympics. I don't know if anyone was aware of that, but that's been going on for years. And oh, happy day. That's great. I get a gold medal, and I also get 25 G's to take home. Ha ha ha. You thought you had 25 G's to take home. Or if you're a Michael Phelps who won gazillions of medals at 25 G's apiece, he's going home with like 100 grand or 125 or I don't know how many medals he's won at this point, but it's a ton. And so he's going with a boatload of money. Now, granted, he's a wealthy guy. And but the kicker here is that when you get there, when you get back to the United States, you get to pay tax. You get to pay winnings tax on your Olympic gold medal. Isn't that wonderful? Now, if you're somebody like a Phelps or a Lochte or who was that, the female swimmer, Katie Ledecky, who's won a gazillion medals too, you might be aware of this. But say you're some, sport, you do competitive darts or something, or something like jump rope. Did you know? I had no idea, and I didn't confirm this, so I don't know whether it's true or not. But I heard somebody on the radio, I don't know who it was, saying that the jump roping, the kind you always see kids in the inner city, they do. It's called double dutch, where these two kids hold one end each of the jump rope, and then there's a kid in the middle, and it's either a double rope or a single rope, and there's a kid in the middle of jumping and doing all sorts of crap. That somebody said that's an Olympic sport now. So what the man? So at any rate, okay, so you're a double dutch competitor, right? And you win the gold in double dutch because you could jump rope better than everybody else. And you get your gold and you get your check, and then you promptly have to pay tax on it. Well, if you're, like I said, if you're a Phelps or a Ledecky or a Ryan Lochte or somebody like that who's won medals before, you probably realize that, you're going to have to pay some tax on this thing. But if you're Joe Double Dutch or Jenny Double Dutch, and this is the first and only gold medal you'll ever win in your entire life, and you realize that you got to pay taxes on that sucker, are you kidding me, man? That would tick me off to no end. And I cannot, no. I was about to say I can't believe that they're doing this, but of course you can believe it. It's all too believable that they'll bleed anybody dry. It's, what was that song by the Beatles, Taxman? They'll tax the buttons in your eyes or the coins in your eyes or something. I can't remember what the line was, but that's about it, man. They'll tax everything. If it ain't nailed down, and even if it is nailed down, they'll tax it. But this may be the funniest thing out of the whole article. There's nothing actually funny about this article. But if it's one of these things that if you don't laugh about it, you'll cry about it because it's just so insane. Western journalism writes, quote, "Our Olympian and Paralympic athletes should be worried about breaking world records, not breaking the bank when they earn a medal," said Senator, are you ready for this, Chuck Charles Schumer, Chucky Schumer, Democrat hack who would tax and spend us into oblivion if he could get away with it, has the nerve to say, and I'll repeat it again, Our Olympian and Paralympic athletes should be worried about breaking world records, not breaking the bank when they earn a medal. Are you freaking kidding me, Chucky Schumer? Holy crap, who never saw a tax that he didn't like, never saw a way to fleece the general public that he wouldn't get behind or didn't like, and he's got the nerve to stand up in front of God and country and say something as inane as this. I can't believe it. Any Democrat that would get up there and say something so stupid, so, I was going to say foolhardy, but whatever. It's just, where did the gall of these people? Where do they get? They must not have any mirrors in the house to look at themselves as they say things like this, or they sleep at night. They must take gobs of sleeping pills, or just become so completely amoral, completely void of any morals to get up, to stand up there and have the temerity to say something as stupid as that from somebody like Chuck Schumer or Hillary or somebody, or Obama, to get up there and say that the Olympic athletes shouldn't be taxed. I mean, honestly, really? Schumer went on to say, most countries subsidize their athletes. He's correct about that. The very least we can do is make sure our athletes don't get hit with a tax bill for winning. No, they get hit with a tax bill for everything else, but winning aside. After a successful and hard-fought victory, it's just not right for the U.S. to welcome these athletes home with a tax on their victory. Anyone else that said that, if it was an anonymous post or something, I would agree. But with somebody like Chucky Schumer saying that, you just have to laugh. It's just insane. So I think we'll just take a break, but just realize how it's just not right, man. It just isn't right, and I agree with Chuck Schumer. It isn't right, but he's just so full of crap for saying it. It's unbelievable. Let's take a break.
You're listening to the Common Constitution. Let the truth be known.
Okie dokie. Welcome back. And next up is from Breitbart, and this is about that National Football League denying the Dallas Cowboys from putting the arm-in-arm decal. And Breitbart writes that it was to be worn when the team opens its preseason schedule during the upcoming bout with Los Angeles Rams. And we'll get to the Rams in a little bit here, but I think that this is the crux of the well, they're not going to ever say it, but I'll get to that in a minute. The idea of the sticker was Cowboys tight end Jason Witten, great tight end, good guy, and he just wanted to side with the cops. He wanted to, him and his team, show his support for the Dallas Police Department, and so the team hoped the decals would help them stand side by side with the police after a gunman murdered 5 officers during an ambush and a shootout on July 7th. If you recall that, and unless you're living under a rock, you did recall that. And also, if you recall, what was the event that the Dallas Police Department was dispatched to help protect? What was that event again? Oh, that's right. It was a Black Lives Matter event that the Dallas Police Department got gunned down protecting a Black Lives Matter event. Fabulous. Now, I don't know whether you're aware. I wasn't aware. I guess I just never really thought about it. But Breitbart reminds us that the attack was the deadliest single incident for law enforcement in history, excluding the disastrous terrorist attacks on 9/11 when 72 officers died. But I can safely say that, yes, we all know about the 9/11 attacks and the terrorism, but police officers weren't specifically targeted like they were with, who is this Micah Xavier Johnson guy. He specifically targeted cops. Bin Laden and his cohorts, the suicide flyers, didn't specifically target firemen. They didn't specifically target cops. They specifically targeted Americans and American infrastructure. So that's a big difference. So Dallas, in response to the NFL denying the request of the Cowboys to put the sticker on their helmets, which if you've seen NFL helmets, they get stickers put on them for everything. And as I think it was Limbaugh was ranting about last week, they have a whole, a week or a month or so, freaking half a year where everything's pink and everything on the football field is pink. I was surprised they didn't paint the goalpost pink and have a, like he said, have a pink football. Just wait, it's coming. I'd be willing to bet. Not that breast cancer isn't the disease that needs to be eradicated, and anything that we can do to help would be great. But the fact that they will honor virtually every cause but this, and we'll get to we know why. And the Dallas PD said that we appreciate the support of the Cowboys organizations and its players. But, however, the NFL is in a very influential position and has the ability to evoke change, raise awareness, and show its support for law enforcement by making decals available to all teams, all NFL teams, that is. But, of course, they're not going to do it. And I'm going to tackle the 800-pound gorilla in the living room here in a second. But a Dallas Morning News sports columnist, Tim Kalishaw, he applauded the decision, thought it was a great decision. He tweeted, NFL gets stuff wrong, but got this right. Other ways to honor them without opening this political door. A political door? Really? This is political? Honoring the police is somehow a political statement now? Really? Well, in this freaking country, it is. With the Black Lives Matter movement, it is. And so let's just get into this one, shall we? Let's just get into the political correctness, and let's just put all that crap aside and call it as it is. This is just racism. It's just, well, I don't know if it's racism or something against the police, and it all comes down to the Black Lives Matter movement. If you recall, what was it last year before a game? Maybe this was last year. The then St. Louis Rams, 4 or 5 black players came out before the game during the introduction, and I believe this was shortly after the Ferguson incident. It's a neighborhood around St. Louis, so it was the St. Louis Rams, and the black players come out in tribute to Michael Brown, that thug who was shot in self-defense by the police officer, who incidentally got his life ruined because of it. And they come out before the game with hands up, don't shoot. They got their 4 or 5 of them run out on the field with their hands up. I mean, give me a break. If that's not a freaking political statement, what is? And what happened to them? Absolutely freaking nothing happened to them. No nothing. No talk to, no fines, no disciplinary action at all, nothing. But yet the Cowboys can't put a sticker in, supporting the police on it. Give me a break. And that's the elephant in the room. It's the Black Lives Matter movement. I hate to say it, but I'm going down this road, folks. The fact is that in the NFL, the overwhelming majority of the players are black. And who cares? I don't care if they're green Martians with pink polka dots on them. I don't care what race they are. All I know is I love football, and I mourn when it's over, basically. Put a black armband when it's over. And so I don't care who's playing the game as long as I can watch the game. But the fact is that this is what this Kalishaw guy was talking about, this political door that they don't want to open because of the Black Lives Matter movement and because so many of these black athletes have bought into this bull crap that they don't want to stir up a hornet's nest, which is exactly what would happen. And so I understand from the NFL standpoint of CYA that they wouldn't allow something like this to happen. But it's just completely and utterly insane that the Cowboys can't support the police in this manner. When we can put stickers on for every freaking thing on the universe, but we can't put a sticker supporting the police. And it's all because of that. It's because there's the black players in the NFL, probably an abundance of them. I wouldn't say most. I have no idea whether there's most of them, but there are and I don't even know if it's a majority or even a plurality. But there's probably enough of them who, if they saw the sticker on there, I wouldn't doubt that some of them would walk off the field and refuse to play the game. And again, it's because of more. I would say more than not, it's because of the sticker would be presented on the Cowboys helmets during a Los Angeles Rams game with the same players, the St. Louis Rams players who moved to Los Angeles this year, those same players who walked out with that stupid hands up, don't shoot symbol and got nothing. This kind of stuff this political correctness crap ticks me off. So there you go. And I guess I got nothing more to say on that. Probably got myself in trouble enough as it is. Let's take a break.
You're listening to the Common Constitution. Let the truth be known.
So, welcome back. Decompress a little bit, listen to some cerebral music. We're good to go. So, I've been looked at the time here, and I'm 20-something minutes in, and I've only done 2 topics. And I told myself long ago that I wasn't going to be one of the podcasts that laboriously drones on for an hour or even 45 minutes. I like to keep these things about 20-25 minutes, reasonable. Do a couple of quick, 3 topics and be done with it. And, I think that's probably a lot more enjoyable to people. But I've still got like 2 or 3 more topics that I want to talk about. I don't even know. So I think maybe I'm just going to go through these real quick, a couple of them, and then just be done with it. I don't know. So anywho, the Clintons released their tax return. And again, as I said in the intro, this was a setup. This was a setup from word go, and I think that this was probably, regardless of who she was going to run against, she figured she was going to get the nomination. It was hers to get this time, and this was a coronation for her. It was in the bag. There wasn't going to be some Obama Black Knight coming out of nowhere to steal it away for her this time. It certainly wasn't going to be the old communist curmudgeon, the phony socialist who's turned out to be a capitalist in his own right, socialist for the rest of us, Bernie Sanders. It was never going to be that old fart. So I believe that this was set up by the Clintons or somebody in the Clinton campaign, and this, frankly, was deviously brilliant. And I was going to say if this is what their intention was, but I know darn well that this was what their intention was. If you look at, she released her 2015 tax returns, and that was it. Okay, that was the only returns she released. And the reason I know it was a setup is because she didn't release the 2014 returns or anything before that, just the 2015 returns, and then she's going to turn around, if she hasn't already, probably has, and then demanded, now I've done my due diligence, Mr. Trump, it's time for you to release your tax returns. And that's the way it's all going to be set up, and the press is going to fall in line and carry her water for her. The reason that I say it's a setup is because she releases her tax returns, and they made $10.6 million last year. Well, that's still a boatload of money to the average Joe. All right? And she also gave away, over $1 million in charitable contributions, which makes her look like a bloody saint, when indeed we all know that she's the devil. Look, Mama, it's the devil. It's Hillary. Yeah, she's one and the same. So anyway, they claim they make $10.6 million. It's a lot, but it's not a huge amount. It's not Trump money. Of course, we don't have any idea what Trump money really is. It's not Romney money or whatever, okay? But it's also not Clinton money, because the year before, they made over $25 million. So what they did is they purposely downplayed their income, okay? They didn't make as much in 2015 on purpose so they could claim this. I guarantee it that's the way this went down. This was no accident that they make a fraction of what they made in 2014 in 2015. No way, no how that this was an accident. Not when the criminal Clintons are involved. And then as far as this this $1 million or over $1 million that they gave to charity, what was the charity? Okay, they gave, what was it? Let's see here. The Blaze has this. They donated $42,000 to the Desert Classic Charities, and then they donated over $1 million to another charity. Guess which one? Oh, the Clinton Foundation. Yes, they donate $1 million to their own freaking Clinton family, crime family foundation. Are you kidding? That's their big charitable gift. Plus, and here I thought I was going to be short about this. That's a hot one, huh? Plus, the Blaze writes that the Daily Caller pointed out, rightly so, that the money, the $42,000 that was donated to the Desert Classic charity, just happened to be in spades. I mean, exponentially funneled back to the Clintons as a charity donation of $700,000 to the Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Foundation, Clinton Foundation. So they gave $42,000, a paltry $42,000, to the Desert Classic Charities, and then the Desert Classic Charities turns around and magically, or sheer coincidentally, gives them donates 700, almost $750,000 back to the Hillary, Bill, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation. I mean, if this these people would make John Gotti blush, and you know, and it's just, and you go back to this. Man, I'm really getting off topic here, but I can't. It just keeps pulling me in different directions. This kid, the kid that was killed in Washington, D.C., just a month ago, a couple weeks ago, and I actually did an article about it. And he was a staffer, a software guy at the DNC. And then all of a sudden he gets offed at 4 o'clock in the morning by some convenience store in Washington, D.C., and Julian Assange is saying now that he's implying, he's not saying, he's implying that this kid, Conrad Seth, whatever the crap his name was, I can't remember what his name was, but at any rate, this kid could have been, he implied that he might be the DNC leak that's been leaking all this information, that it wasn't in fact the Russians, it was this guy that was working with Assange to leak all this stuff out about Hillary. And then he gets offed. And then the liberal press is all in an uproar. Oh, the conspiracy theories are out. You look at the Clintons' background. I checked this out. Over 90 people have either died by accident, been murdered, or committed suicide, people that they know. Now, you name me, anybody listening to me, or friends, or relatives, or anyone. Do you know anyone that has been murdered? Anybody? Very few people know anybody that's committed suicide. Even fewer have been murdered, and even fewer have been murdered in, we'll just say, mysteriously nefarious ways. But it follows them around. 90 people since they were in Arkansas? 90? Are you kidding me? I don't know. I mean, I know one person that I knew committed suicide. Beyond that, I don't know anybody. And I think I'm the exception to the rule. And I don't know anybody, as far as I know, who's been murdered. But yet the Clintons are just, the people are just dropping like flies around them. And you just got to wonder, what's the common denominator here? I ain't pointing. Yes, I am. I'm pointing fingers. Heck yeah, I'm pointing fingers. There's something seriously not right about these two people. I always thought that Bill Clinton was just this dopey politician who would say and do anything to get elected or to curry favor with people, and he wanted just to be loved. And Hillary was really the crook. She was the brains of the operation. But I don't think Bill's any better than Hillary. He just carries it off better as a yokel, basically. And she doesn't carry it off. She's a rhymes with witch, and everybody knows it. Even the people that know her best say that. She just gives me the heebie-jeebies. And now, like I said, they released their tax returns. The tax returns are phonied up. The charities are phonied up. Everything that they do is fake, fraudulent, and frankly, probably illegal, most of what they do. And I am going to have no time for anything else. I really wanted to get to this LGBT transgender crap. The fact that they're actually going to start letting transgenders compete in the Olympics, give me a break. You think the female athletes are going to love that? I don't think so, but I don't have time to get into it, so I'm just not going to go any further. So this is the Common Constitutionalist signing off. Y'all have a great balance of a nice summer weekend, and I'll talk to you next week, and I am out of here.
Thank you for listening to the Common Constitutionalist Weekly Podcast.